Hi, this is Jack Tester. Welcome to another episode here of Leadership Lounge. I am here right after the holidays. I'm in St. Paul, Minnesota in my office, and across the desk from me, I have Kate Cinnamo. How you doing, Kate?
Hi, good. Thank you for having me.
You bet. You bet. Now, Kate is the executive director of the Next Star Legacy Foundation.
I am.
You've done a great job with the foundation, Kate.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
And I think your story is an interesting one. I think it's something that I think kind of represents broader society, especially before you came to the foundation.
Yes.
Is that fair?
That's fair.
So people,
Yeah.
I know you quite well, Kate. We work day to day with each other, and but people don't know you, so I'd like a little background. Tell us where you're from.
I grew up in a small town called Rake, Iowa.
Oh, how many people in Rake?
About 200.
200 people.
200.
And your dad was in insurance business, wasn't
Yep,
he?
my parents. Yep, they own their own insurance office.
Right. So your father wasn't in the trades. He was a professional.
Yeah.
In Iowa, in a rural area
Yes.
of Iowa, within like 2 or 3 miles of the Minnesota border. Just to give you some perspective,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So you didn't grow up with the trades, and I imagine your father and your mother probably had some desires for their daughter
Yep.
to go to school, to go
Yes.
to college, right? Did you?
Yes.
So what was the messaging from your parents when you were a young girl?
So growing up, it was just expected and known that college would come after high school.
Right.
That's all there was to it.
There was no plan B.
No, there was one plan.
There was one plan,
Yep.
which was college. And of course,
Yep.
I know you, Kate. You probably
Yeah.
enjoyed school, didn't you?
I did.
Even in high school, and
I did.
Yeah, I bet you're a
Yep.
pretty good student too, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. That's fair to say. Yeah.
Yeah. How many people in your graduating class in Rake, Iowa?
46.
46. Okay, you didn't have to be too good to be at the top of your class, Kate. Just let you know.
True. Yeah.
Right?
Good point.
So, classic American upbringing in a
Yes.
small Midwestern town.
Yep.
Good values.
Yep.
Good. You're Scandinavian too. Is that right?
Very much so.
Very much Scandinavian.
Yep.
Swedish or Norwegian?
Norwegian.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. That's better. So anyway, so you off and you where did you go to college?
I went to Luther College in Decorah, Iowa.
So Luther is a private,
4-year liberal arts school.
very liberal arts. I mean, just kind of
Very. Yep.
right. And it's not an inexpensive school even when you went. You're not that old, but
No, it was the price tag was high.
To
For
go.
sure. Yeah, absolutely.
to go to school.
Yep.
Just curious, what is it today at Luther?
If you have tuition, room, and board, it'll get you about $55,000.
Jeez, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And that's in Decorah, Iowa.
Decorah, Iowa.
Yeah, and I know there's a lot more expensive schools in the world too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but what you said, okay, you enjoyed school.
I did.
And you went to college, and you enjoyed college too, I bet, didn't you?
I did. Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of good people there.
Yeah. And I think, you're a people person. You enjoyed it. You like school. You like study.
Yep.
You got into school. In fact, you liked college so much. What did you do when you when you graduated?
Yeah. So I wanted to stick around. I loved Luther every day. I loved it for 4 years. And so the opportunity came up that they had a job opening in their admissions office. So I applied for that and got the job. So 2 months after graduation, I was back in Decorah.
Really? So you were back actually recruiting kids
Yes.
to go to the school that you loved,
Exactly.
right?
Yep.
So give me a day in the life. What did that mean?
Yeah. So as an admissions counselor, you were assigned a couple regions of the Midwest.
Where were your regions?
My regions were southern Wisconsin
Okay.
and the corner of northwestern Iowa.
Okay. All right. So that you were in northeastern Iowa, so you had the other corner
I had the other corner. Yep.
of Iowa. So you
Yep.
traveled to high schools?
I did. Yep. So about half the year I traveled and then had the opportunity to talk with students when they were on campus, worked with guidance counselors. So that was my
Let me
gig.
ask you a question, Kate.
Yeah.
You were meeting with guidance counselors. Did you ever recommend the trades to anyone?
No, that never even entered my mind. Never.
Never even
No.
thought, like you were sitting across the table from a young man or woman in one of these places, and did you ever think to yourself, oh, this person probably wouldn't enjoy Decorah? Did you ever tell them, don't apply? Don't go to college? Did you ever say that?
I don't know that I ever told them not to apply for college. I had conversations that Luther probably wasn't the right college for them.
But there's another college. It wasn't like
Right.
go to the military or
No.
or become a policeman or
No.
join the trades.
Nope.
It was not Luther. It's maybe
How about another option?
right.
Yeah.
Maybe a community college for a year or two or
Right.
something. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
But that was the depth and breadth of your recommendations, right?
That was it.
Right.
Yep, that was it.
As you look back, and I don't want you to feel too bad, but was that always in the student's best interest, what you were telling them then?
That's a good question.
I don't mean it like you were
Right.
sitting there thinking evilly, you know,
Right.
that you didn't have their best interest in mind, but
Right.
you were a 23, 24-year-old
Yeah.
woman
Yeah.
giving career advice to 17, 16-year-old kids,
Right.
and your only frame of reference was college.
And that was it. That's all I knew, right? That's all I had grown up with. That's what all my friends did. That's just what I knew. I wouldn't have thought to recommend anything else.
All right. Thinking back on it now,
Mm-hmm.
how do you feel about that today?
I think knowing what I know now, I think there's some other options that would come into play. You know, really understanding the student with whom I'm talking, their interests, maybe where their aptitude lies.
Question for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this, you were obviously an agent of the college.
Yeah.
And their interest was putting talented people in the seats of the school.
Sure.
Right. Do you remember the guidance counselors then, the people that weren't agents of? What was their motivation? What were they telling the students back then?
I think they were trying to get as many students lined up for college visits as they could.
Is that what you felt, or that's what you were told then, or that's?
Yeah, I mean, that's just what we assumed. We assumed that when we were there, when we would go to a school, the guidance counselors would get students in to talk with me and to ask questions.
Did you sit so when you were invited in by a guidance, so your primary contact at a school was a guidance counselor?
Yes.
Is
Yep.
that right?
Yep.
So in your southern Wisconsin, you just knew who the guidance counselor was, or Sparta High School, or
Exactly.
whatever, right?
Yep. Exactly.
And you would go, hi Jill, this is I'm
Yeah.
here to talk to students. Who do you got for me?
Yep.
Is that how it went?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you ever sit in a room with other colleges and have a conversation about Luther as compared to St. Olaf as another liberal arts school in
Yeah.
southern
Yep.
Minnesota?
Yep.
How did that work?
The only other time that I would see representatives from the other colleges would be at a career fair. So if we were set up in the auditorium, and a lot of it, we would kind of do a circuit together. So you would see the same people.
Same men or women
Yep.
from these other schools
Yeah.
that you were competing with.
Yep. Yep.
Were there trades in these auditoriums with you? Were they in these?
I remember seeing other community colleges, especially in Wisconsin, but I
Right.
don't.
And they might have had a technical program like a
Sure.
baking or something like that,
Right.
or
Yep.
something maybe a mechanical trade too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yep. But that would be the furthest that it would be.
Right. So these
Yeah.
students, they're sitting there pondering the next step in life.
Yep.
And the guidance counselor's primary vision was to see how many of these kids I could place in a college program.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The people that were asking them for FaceTime for these students were people like you
Yep.
that were representing colleges
Yes.
across the upper Midwest or wherever.
Yep.
Right. So you're competing with the state schools and the private schools.
Exactly. Yep.
Around, right? And this is the messaging, Kate, couldn't have been less diverse.
Oh,
I'm
right.
just, as I think about this,
Yeah.
as I think about what the high school students were getting exposed to, at least through the school, was all about college,
Right.
right?
Right.
Now, what is the and I don't know this stat. We didn't prep for this call, by the way. We
No.
just said, let's talk about this
Yeah.
because I knew you had some interest here.
Yeah.
What's the graduation rate? Do you remember what, not at Luther, but in general?
Just in general, I don't know the exact number, but I know that a lot of students right now, they're not graduating in 4 years.
Right.
So you really have to plan 5 or 6 years in order to get your bachelor's.
I think I've seen some number, and I don't know this. I could probably Google it here quick. Like
Yeah.
4 out of 10 don't make it through.
Yeah.
Some number like
Yeah.
that. Right.
Yeah.
And then, and with, do you know? And again, I'm indicting college, and I don't mean to do that, but I'm just trying to provide perspective right
Sure.
now. So a kid is kind of unsure,
Yep.
doesn't know his or her path, and that's not unusual for an 18-year-old.
No.
Right? Maybe is even unsure if college is right, but they kind of feel obligated, like
Right.
it's the thing to do, and almost feel less than if they don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then would one of your things be, one is when you're getting somebody interested in your college, did you introduce them to this idea of student aid or student loans? Did you do that too, Kate?
Well, I knew firsthand about student loans.
You had a few?
Oh, I definitely had a few when I
Okay.
graduated. Yep.
Okay.
I do remember when we're doing our college visits at the high schools and we're at the career fairs that we had a brochure about financial aid that we would give all the students to take home to their parents or their adults
right.
in their life.
Right.
And that would be a further conversation that they would have with the financial aid office because
Okay.
everyone's situation is different.
But would you kind of guide them there and say, here's who you need to talk to at
Yep.
Luther about
Yep.
going in debt
Yeah.
for a school that you're not sure that you know
Yeah.
what to do with at a $55,000 a year school?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it's right for you.
Yep. Yep.
Do you see anything wrong with this?
Yeah, I feel it. Not understanding then, obviously what I know now, it's hard for me to talk to a high schooler now who's looking at college to say, oh yeah, that's the best choice you can make.
Right.
Because we hear so much about the cost of school and the amount of student loans that people are taking on.
Right.
And the high schools, no one's talking about going to the trades and exploring that
Right.
opportunity.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Well, that's part of your mission now, isn't it?
it is.
It is. Is this idea that college is an option B.
Right.
It's not the thing that you find out about kind of after you failed at college or after you've decided that's not fun, after you've incurred $10, $20, $50,000 worth of student debt that's going to chase you,
Right.
unless the government forgives it, and I hope they don't, right?
Right.
In the future, right?
Yep.
Is this idea that the trades are really option A, even if college is a great choice for you.
Right. Exactly.
Because, Kate, what I've seen in this industry is we even have the wrong messaging. We say, if college isn't right for you, consider the trades.
Right.
Which is just as, you might as well just say, we're second rate,
Right.
right? And we're not.
No, we're not.
This trade is amazing.
It is.
Even for a non-technical person, the career opportunities.
Right.
For a person like myself, right? I'm not a technical man.
Sure.
And look where I'm ended up. Out of your mind. Right?
Yeah. What happened there?
What happened here? How is this possible? Yeah, anything's possible. Kate,
Anything's
is
possible.
what I'm
That's
saying, right? But so tell me, what are some of the things that the foundation's doing to change this message? And I want to say that it's no matter what kind of job you do, Kate, what job the foundation does.
Right.
This institutionalized message is so deep in society.
Right.
It's going to take a lot to change. But
It is.
the way it changes, I believe, is one conversation at a time. You can't just put a commercial out there and it's going to change it. It's me sitting across from a young person,
Right.
really having a meaningful conversation.
Right.
Me being a guidance counselor, me being a parent, me being a contractor,
Yeah.
looking to recruit people into this industry.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, broadly speaking, what are some of the things the foundations do to equip people to have those conversations?
Yeah. So on the website is explorethetrades.org. We have a wide variety of resources that are made for influencers. So they're made for guidance counselors, educators, parents, just really quick worksheets, marketing items, so to speak, that really talks about the path of the opportunities that exist within these fields.
Right.
And it's easy it'd be perfect at a job fair or career fair at high school, but just to highlight the different areas that exist if you were going to be a plumber or an HVAC technician or an electrician, and just show that there's all these big milestones in a career that you may not know exist within
Right.
your bachelor's degree, let's just say.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have tools on the foundation site
Yep.
that a contractor could take as an example.
Yep,
If
absolutely.
they wanted to get in the mix at a high school
That'd be
about
awesome.
a career opportunity, right?
That'd be
So
awesome.
you're just not speaking up there yourself, but
Right.
you've got some material to give them in the same way you had Luther College with little Viking dude on it,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Exactly. Right.
Right?
Yeah.
To have that give some substance behind your message.
Right.
Because I would think that a student is looking at this going, okay, I've got this guidance counselor from Luther, and she's got the backdrop at the career fair with the big Viking, and what was the Luther Vikings? Is that what it was?
The Luther Norse.
Norse, Judas. Okay, whatever. Luther Norse. Man, you couldn't be more monocultured.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Right. Anyway, but a contractor would go there and they'd have their company, obviously, but they'd have some information on this industry.
Yep, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's huge.
It is, and I think it's important that contractors can use this information, and I think it's going to take a lot of us, and I think it starts at home and among peers, really. I don't know that the schools will change their message anytime soon, but it's important for them to know the thriving opportunities that exist without a 4-year degree. Mm-hmm. And I think that we're all kind of battling that same mindset of the trades are awesome and we need people to go there, but not my child.
We're getting that a little. Yeah, there are people,
I think so.
There's still some.
I think so.
Kate, can I share that to that point?
Sure.
When my kids were coming out of high school into college, in my social stratosphere, we kind of bragged about the school our kid was going to.
Sure.
There was a little bit of snobbery amongst the parents.
Sure.
I don't think I did my kids any good having that.
Yeah.
I think if I reflect on the messaging that sent them,
Sure.
and what it really said about me,
Yep.
wasn't great.
Sure.
And I think we got to be careful of that. Listening to this is that we don't fall trapped to that either.
Right.
Right. Because I would be so proud of my son.
Right.
If he wanted to become a plumber,
Right.
or an air conditioning mechanic,
Yeah.
I'd just be thrilled. Electrician, I'd be really disappointed in him, but I'm joking. But no, I mean, I'd be so thrilled.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I can't say 10 years ago that I thought that, and that's probably an indictment on my part.
Right. Right.
But today I would.
Oh, for sure. And I think, and I have 2 little kids in elementary, right? But we're already thinking years from now when they graduate, we've seen the number kind of estimated out to see what tuition will be. And it gives you heartburn, right? Like if
it's $55,000 today for your little Tate, who's 7 or whatever he is now.
Yeah.
That'll probably be $80,000 by the time he crosses the threshold.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's something to think about, and I think that students just need to hear the good things that happen. I think they're so stuck, and parents too, in, well, if you're a plumber or if you're in the trades, you must not be that smart. And it's unfortunate because this field is made up of intelligent people. You know what I mean?
It is. It is.
That's tough work.
It's great work.
Yeah.
It's a great living.
Right.
Fantastic. I see that, we have a lot of trade families in Nexstar. Mm-hmm. And I don't see that, I think some really well-balanced families realize that their son becoming an installer is a great thing.
Oh, right.
Even
Absolutely.
though they're owning a business and the parents are doing really, really, really well.
Yeah.
They realize it's a great path. Just like, an entry-level position at a law firm or investment company.
Sure.
You're starting at $55,000 a year, maybe a little bit more than an apprentice starts at, but you're not making. You got to work your tail off to get to where you're making anything close to what your parents might be making, owning or managing one of our companies here at Nexstar. Not even close to it. In fact, I'm going to say right now that the financial reward for a general manager, a great salesperson in our industry, is equal to a law firm or an investment advisor or some of these other, or working for Google or perish the thought Amazon. I'd rather walk in traffic than work for them. So, right.
Yeah. So but I mean, there's just this opportunity about being a small business owner that I didn't realize until I started here. Had no clue.
About not just that the trades were cool.
Right.
But that not only do I make a lot of money as a technician, but there's a really decent chance I could do other things too.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like own a business or run a business or run a department.
Yep.
Yeah, do that at Amazon.
Yeah, good luck.
You're not going to own Amazon.
No, you're not.
No.
No.
No, you'll be working for a drone.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a great message. So what this, and you work here, Kate.
I do.
So when you first saw the app, so you came in, you weren't recruited in by me. I didn't know you.
No.
You answered. How did you find out about the foundation? What did you first think?
I found the job on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And read the description and was curious and intrigued by the opportunity, by what the foundation did and what Nexstar did. Had never heard of these two entities in my life.
Right.
And a little bit of uncertainty with I know nothing about this industry. My career up until then had been in senior housing. So I thought, well,
you went from education to senior housing.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. Okay.
Yep. And then
Got it.
decided to apply for this job.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you applied for it, and did you have prejudices coming into it? Did you have preconceptions, and how did those change?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think I was just a little uncertain of there's nothing I can bring to this role. I don't have experience in the trades.
Right.
Totally going in blind. Yeah.
But you know what, Kate? Can I tell you though that we're thrilled to have you because you've had experience in higher education, and you've seen that,
Yeah.
right? You've been you've worked for the beast, so to speak.
I have.
Right? I'm just going to call it that.
And I have my college ring to prove for it.
Yeah,
Right?
just got your college ring to prove for it. But
That's right.
You work for the beast, and
Yeah.
and to be here now, and I'm just interested in how your thoughts have changed.
Oh,
over that
dramatically.
time.
It's a 180 for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. Yep. It's really exciting to know our Nexstar members and their stories, and to look at the spectrum of their businesses. It's fascinating to me. It is.
From an outsider.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yep.
That is so cool. So you can. So let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Kate.
All right.
You were to go back to your job at Luther.
Yep.
As a recruiter.
Yeah.
What would you do different today? Knowing could you do it the way you did it? What would you do? How could you approach that job with integrity today? I know you could, but what would you do different?
I think it comes down to having a conversation with these high school kids. When they're at school and the parents aren't around and they ask questions, I think it becomes a more intentional conversation about the path that they're looking at and maybe what job they want to have in the future, and really taking a look at the amount of school, the costs associated with that, and really telling them, unless you're able to just stroke a check for the full tuition amount, expect to come out with student loans, and that plays into your future decisions about what you want to do. Because when you think about those student loans and how long they could last, it gives you a little heartburn.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
If you're not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, I'm kind of leading you here, Kate,
Yeah.
but I'm assuming that Kate, the pure sales agent for Luther, might change a little bit
A little bit.
right now if
Yeah.
you were to go back.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so let's talk about going forward here.
Okay.
So we want to talk about, again, the work that people can do listening to this, because I got to tell you that to help some young person
Yep.
who's not quite sure where to go in life, because you just don't know at 18.
No.
You just don't
No.
know, and to set someone down a path where they're going to create $50,000-$80,000 worth of debt and still be unsure at the end of 2 or 3 years.
Right.
Again, 40% of the people at least don't finish this thing.
Right.
Right. And even if they do, they sometimes work in another trade or another thing. Right.
Absolutely.
I think it's going to come down to people being intentional about their conversations. And what I mean by this is the narrative of this industry as being option B isn't going to change with a marketing campaign or a series of emails.
Right.
It's going to change by somebody that somebody trusts having a conversation with a young person about the realities of this trade.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to say here about what the foundation is really focused on doing,
Sure.
is giving those people those materials.
Yeah.
So let's talk about
Absolutely.
this next year. What are some of the things the foundation is going to create that will help people who influence have
Yeah.
these real conversations?
Yeah, so the foundation is excited to look at this year and kind of create a career fair toolbox. And what I mean by that is, creating these items that we can send to contractors and to our Nexstar members and to schools to just show students another path that's possible. And some of those ideas would be to have students out to your shop, because a lot of them don't know what you would do as a plumber or an electrician.
Right.
They don't know the scope of that work.
Right.
And so I think it's important for them to see it firsthand. I think it's important to have conversations with parents if that opportunity exists, and to really tell them what they do day to day. Because I think kids are really interested in that.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. And so one of the things you said is kind of a career day kit.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned, having them in your shop.
Yeah.
You're creating some tools to help facilitate
Yes.
kind of introducing the trade
Right.
to someone with interest
Yes.
in your shop.
Yep.
How do you do that?
Yep.
Rather
Yeah.
than just putting them on the third seat of a truck, what do you do?
Yeah. So,
Right.
we're envisioning this as having students come out to the shop and coordinating that with a guidance counselor, giving them 3 or 4 hours to tour the shop, show them what the tools are like, the truck, have some of your technicians, have some of your CSRs, marketing people, if you have any, just to really talk about what they do. I mean, what is the day-to-day aspect? You're not just,
Right.
doing the dirty stuff, so to speak.
And we've piloted this in the Twin Cities,
Yeah.
where we have had some students come to a warehouse here
Yes.
in town,
Yep.
where we had some of our members' trucks there with their technicians.
Yes,
And they tell their story.
they do.
And tell me, how'd that go?
It was really cool. The technicians who were there were very honest and open about why they chose the field they did, and kind of told their stories of how they got there and the lives that they've been able to build for themselves and their families.
Right.
And some of those awesome opportunities that come because of this job, like taking their family to Disney World. I mean,
Right.
that's pretty cool.
That's when you specifically
Yeah.
heard
Yep.
this technician,
Yeah.
the young man
Yep.
that before was kind of hand to mouth
Yes.
and kind of stumbled into the trade.
Yes.
And now he's really proud.
Yeah.
Making a great living.
Yep. Yep.
Supporting his family in
Yeah.
a really awesome way.
Yeah, and I think for the students to hear those stories, they were really clued in on them. I mean, they were listening intently. There was no side talk,
Right.
They weren't distracted. They were absolutely locked in on what they were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a cool thing. So this happened and it can happen as simple as this, as a contractor going to a guidance counselor saying, I'd like to offer my location up
Yeah.
to introduce plumbing, air conditioning, electrical
Yeah.
to as many young people as you can throw my way. Here's the outline I'll use for this career
Yep.
day of
Yeah.
sorts.
Yeah.
And maybe putting somebody that's a little more relatable in front of these young people, like a
Exactly.
young technician.
Right.
In our case here, we had some young men of color.
Yes.
So we had a couple of technicians of color as
Yep.
well.
Yep.
So they could kind of relate better than old Jack Tester, right?
Right.
Or Kate,
Right.
the whitest woman
Yeah,
I've
exactly.
ever met, right? Is you. But there's relatable stories, right?
Yeah, very much
It's just
so.
not me on high,
Yeah.
as the CEO of Nexstar telling them what they should do. It's somebody who's 32 years old.
Yeah.
Telling them how they struggled and their journey, and all of a sudden they found a purpose and a career of meaning.
Yeah.
And how cool is it to do that?
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I mean, you could see these young men, the students who were there, they got it. And that age group anyway, 16, 17, 18, it's hard to hold their attention anyway, but
right.
they got it.
They
It was
got
pretty
it.
cool.
And
Yeah.
if you do that to again, you do it with 30 people,
Yeah.
15 people, maybe one gets it. That's okay though. It's
That's
one.
one. Yep.
It's still one
Yep.
person.
Yep.
I say it prevents him from going to the Beast, which is a four-year liberal arts
That's
school
right.
with $100,000 worth of debt,
Right.
right? And
Yep.
a
Yeah.
sense of, a sense that you didn't finish something.
Right. Yeah.
But start the trade, get your license,
Mm-hmm.
get your truck,
Yep.
do some good work, and who knows where it goes from there. It just have a great career as a technician, installer.
Oh,
Just
absolutely. Yeah.
amazing, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of good things coming here in the foundation, and I encourage if folks listening here, how would they find this information and find out more about how they can plug in and get out there changing this narrative that this trade is option B, that it's option A? Where should they go?
Sure. All of our information is online at explorethetrades.org. That's the foundation's website.
That's it.
That's it.
So the foundation is all about equipping influenced devs conversations.
Yes.
It's more than just scholarships.
Yep.
Right? It's
Yep.
really about changing the narrative.
Right.
And equipping people to have one-on-one conversations and encouraging people to have those one-on-one conversations.
That's right.
Especially the people that are in this industry right
Yes.
now, that we can't leave it to the guidance counselors because they got all kinds of people whispering in their ear.
Right.
And they all came from college, and I know how they think because they were part of the beast like you were.
That's right.
They're all part of the...
That's right. I escaped.
Right? Same horn, different beast.
Yeah,
right.
It's
It's all the same. But so I'd encourage folks to do that.
Yeah.
Because it's very exciting. And you know what? I think, Kate, versus even 5 years ago, I think the world is starting to get a little more receptive. You're hearing it in political messages
Yes.
now. You're hearing candidates talk about
Yep.
other kinds of training. And,
Yep.
I think and I do think that the bubble will burst.
It has to.
On college
Yeah,
costs. It
yeah.
just can't keep accelerating like it is, and
Right.
these bloated entities with all the expense, and
Yep.
it just doesn't make sense.
No. No, it doesn't.
It just doesn't. And I'll say this right now. I don't want to tell someone not to go to school, not to go to college, but there's some amazing people here at Nexstar that are doing amazing things on the staff at Nexstar.
Yep.
That never went to college.
Yep. Absolutely.
And I'm proud to work alongside them. They're just as smart as us that did.
Yep.
I'm a college guy with a 2.7 GPA, right?
Look where you are, Jack.
And I'm going to say where I am had nothing to do with what I did in college, right? It to do with what I did after that. So, well, thank you for your good work on the foundation, Kate.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll
Thanks.
encourage you all to take advantage of what Kate and the foundation offers. And thank you all for listening to this awesome episode here of Leadership Lounge. This is Jack Tester with Kate Cinnamo, and we will catch you next time. See you later.